Alright, so what we're going to use some basic tools here, just some plasticware, a little piece of styrofoam. You're going to write your name on one side of the styrofoam and your class code on the other, and that's going to become your working space, your tray. Then I made this little, what's called a bump mold, and wrapped it in plastic wrap. And you're going to make a bowl or a ball, and then you're going to do a turned pot by just putting your thumbs in there and turning, and just gentle pinches. Flip it over and press it down on what's called that bump mold there. And that's going to be the head of your gargoyle. And we're just making the heads of our gargoyles. And just press that down so that it's covering your bump mold. Alright, now I'm going to change perspective here so that you can see how I form the face. And of course your face is going to be uniquely different. Alright, so there are just a few kinds of forms that you need to know about when you are working with clay. The first thing you need to know about is a sphere or a ball. So you just roll that in your hand like that, and you create a sphere. You can then create another sphere, and then roll it out to create a cylinder. Just like that. So now you've got more of a cylinder shape, so that's another form that you need to know how to make when working with clay. And then the last thing that you need to know how to make when working with clay is a disc. So you roll up a cylinder and then you just squash it in your hands. Just squish on your hands. Not on the table because it will stick to the table, so do it in your hands. And there's a disc or a slab. So then you've got your sphere, your cylinder, and your slab. And then you also need a coil. And a coil is just a cylinder rolled out much thinner. And you just do that by keep rolling out that cylinder, and then you have a coil like this. Those are the four forms that you need when working with clay. And then you can create things from those forms. Alright, so now I'm going to start working with my gargoyle, and you're going to see how I'm going to do that. I'm going to start fast forward here a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to make a piggy nose, and that's just going to be a cylinder. So I make my cylinder there, and I use my tools. Now, first I'm just going to poke my little piggy nostrils there. Now, see how this knife has that scoring? So see how I've scored that? I have made those lines. You really need to make those lines, and then you use the slip, which is clay glue. And that is how you glue things on. And then you can smooth around the edges with your finger or with the spoon. It's very important to do that. Now I'm going to put in the eyes. So first I need eye sockets, and then I'm going to make a sphere. I'm going to make my marks, put in my clay glue. Really important to put in that clay glue, and really important to put in those marks. Those marks are called score lines. That's really important to do. You can do that with a knife, or you can do it with your pencil. Now I'm going to make the ears, and so I make 2 slabs at a time, and then I pull them apart. That way they are symmetrical because they're the same shape. Score marks, glue, glue. Score marks, scores, glue. Make sure that you really rough up that and put that together. Now I'm going to make the mouth. I'm going to, of course, score both sides and put in the clay glue, which is called slip. Draw in a line there and open up the mouth. Open up the mouth there. I use my fork to texture some really ferocious looking teeth. Make another slab. This is going to be my mohawk like a giraffe. So I've got a piranha mouth, I've got a piggy nose, I've got a giraffe mohawk, I've got fox ears, fish eyes. Now I'm texturizing the mohawk here, and now I'm going to use my marker. I'm going to make fish scales. See how I'm just using the bottom of the marker to create that texture that looks like scales? So that could be lizard scales or fish scales, but it's scales. And that creates a texture all around. Because texture is important in this. And then I'm going to put some horns on, slipping and scoring, slipping and scoring, score and slip, score and slip, score and slip. Form my horns like that. And if I don't get done today, then what we'll do is we'll get a big bag and we'll just slip the whole thing into this bag here, and then that will keep for next week. So in case this doesn't get done today, we do have next week to work on this as well. And see how I just very, very carefully slip this into my little bag, take out most of the air, and then it will just hold for next week. And see how I took out a lot of the air, but there's still a little bit of an air that creates that bubble there. That's going to help protect my animal. And I want to make sure that I really got that sealed up nice and well. Alright, we have finished making our gargoyle. They have been fired. It is now hard like stone. It is ceramics. And we're going to paint our gargoyle in gray and dark colors. Now to darken our colors, we mix it with the opposite. The obvious one here is to do gray, to mix white with its opposite, which is black. I've arranged your palette so that the opposite color on the color wheel is opposite of each color. The reason I've done that is because if you mix the opposite color, it will dull it. It will make it darker without losing the color. So yellow mixed with, you might think with black would work, but it doesn't. It makes it kind of green. So instead you mix it with purple. So purple with yellow will make the yellow look darker, kind of like a dark mustard. And then same with the rest of them. So you're going to just mix. See how that purple mixed with the yellow makes it look like a darker yellow. And the yellow mixed with the purple makes it look like a darker purple. And that's how we're going to make our colors look darker. And I want everybody to make sure that their gargoyle looks like it has been mixed with darker colors. Because remember, these are supposed to be dark and ferocious creatures. We don't want bright, vibrant, happy, elementary colors. We want these darker, duller colors for our gargoyle. Although, of course, most gargoyles were painted, or were not painted, and so they just have the stone. But we're going to just paint our gargoyles in with darker colors. So see how I've painted in very carefully? Now this paint dries very fast, so that's already dry. And we're using tiny little brushes to get into all of the tiny little cracks. And we're also making sure that our paint is nice and watery, because if our paint is nice and watery, it will fill in all those cracks, because I don't want any white ceramic showing by the time you are turning this in. So when you turn this in, there can't be any white showing. Alright, so I'm just going to fast forward here, and you're going to see how I mix all these colors to make duller, less vibrant colors, make darker colors, and I fill my whole gargoyle up with darker, muted colors.